Welcome to the Big Daddy Chiefs Fan Kill Count, where we count the bodies and count our blessings. I'm your host, Jonathan Markham, and today we're going to be looking at A House Divided, which currently sits as the most viewed Big Daddy Chiefs fan video with nearly 530 views. The idea came from the classic Who Done It story, which of course has been parodied to death in Hollywood, in video games, and in the classic board game Clue. But what makes House Divided set apart is its colorful cast of characters and gut-wrenching comedy. But enough gawking about that. Let's get to the kills. The video begins with our titular main character, Big Daddy Chiefs fan himself, being chauffeured to this house party that he's been invited to by a valet. The valet is played by Ben Gilbert, who had been in a couple Big Daddy Chiefs fan videos before, but mostly serves as the tech guy for Big Daddy Chiefs fan, doing things like chauffeuring in real life. Big Daddy Chiefs fan arrives at this house party, and we get our first look at our colorful cast of characters, who will meet most of them in a second. But of great importance is the man standing in the corner with a flat cap. That guy's name is Coach Terry, played by the real Coach Terry. He was a football coach and history teacher known by the cast and directors, who was such a big fan of the previous work that he decided he wanted to be in one of the videos, and they agreed to put him in. After a little bit of friendly conversating, Coach Terry comes forward and proposes a toast, but he'll soon learn the irony of that last line. Cause oh no, there goes the lights! Ah! And there we have it, our first kill of the video, Coach Terry, stabbed through the heart. But who done it? We may never know. And now's as good a time as any is to introduce them all. First off is Detective Frenchie Joe Nathan, played by Jonathan Markham. That guy's kind of cute. He's based on the old Sherlock Holmes detective stereotype. And as the guy that played him, I can share personally that doing the accent was very hard. I had a different accent in every single sentence I said. It was not easy. Then we have Captain Colette, who has been in several other Big Daddy Chiefs fan videos, such as The Big Crazy Grizzly and The Bigfoot, but he's kind of the Kimmy McCormick of the Big Daddy Chiefs fan universe, constantly dying, but he's the only one that remembers it. Next is Caleb Armstrong, played by Sawyer Bowling, who is kind of just a little inside joke, as the real Caleb Armstrong, who had been in videos like Big Crazy Grizzly and now Calling the Top Hat Man at 3 a.m., was supposed to be there for filming, but had prior obligations and couldn't show up. So we decided that Sawyer Bowling should play Caleb Armstrong and even be credited as Caleb Armstrong. Sawyer had been in the Christmas special prior to this, but not much besides that. Next up is Brady Burke, who is played by Brady Burke, who usually plays a character by the name of Crazy Indian Guy, a recurring character throughout the Big Daddy Chiefs fan videos. But in this one, he decided to just play Brady Burke, who has a great mustache, I must add. Then there's Ethan Shockley's character, who I don't know if it's a continuation of his character from Big Crazy Grizzly or not, but he's in the nice little tuxedo shirt. It's kind of funny. That's the characters. Then we cut to a kind of a montage of how the characters are getting along in this new murder-infested house, such as Captain Colette and Caleb Armstrong going to the bathroom together for some reason. Brady Burke getting released to have a steak in a private room, which was based on how Brady Burke, the real actor, loves steak. I mean, absolutely loves it. And Detective Joe Nathan lying clues, which do say evidence 1, evidence 2, but you cannot read it on camera. Shockstone is asleep, and I throw it on him. It's funny. It's a joke. Shockstone proceeds to go check on Big Daddy Chiefs fan and Brady, who are both eating in this little kitchen area. The steak prop is actually an old slice of pizza, which, spoiler alert, is why I slip up later and call it pizza. My bad. But they discuss the murder and how things have happened when all of a sudden, Brady, no! Slumped over, apparently poisoned. Brady Burke gets added to the kill count. And for some reason, Big Daddy Chiefs fan stupidly picks up the knife that Brady was eating the steak with, causing both Captain Colette and Caleb Armstrong to yell at him for being a murderer. Murderer! Murderer! But, happily, Detective Joe Nathan comes in to defuse the situation, knowing that there's more than meets the eye usually. He determines that he was poisoned, and they all agree to head back to the living room to discuss. Funny thing to mention about that previous scene is the moment where Detective Joe Nathan drops the magnifying glass after throwing out the knife, which obviously was a practical joke, but that was a real mishap on set. The magnifying glass was genuinely just dropped. And once they all get back into the living room, it's time to discuss whodunit. While Captain Colette and Shockstone bicker, Caleb Armstrong can be seen grimacing in pain and complaining about how his butt itches. And why is that? Well, because there's a knife in that thing. And that gets him added. That's good enough to get him added to the count. There was a cut line here from myself that I cannot say because it was that inappropriate. The death of Caleb Armstrong sparks a little argument up in between the people, and Detective Joe Nathan tries to defuse it, but, yeah, that's a gun. Which, does not look good when there's a murderer running rampant in the house. So automatically he starts getting accused, and he cannot defend himself. And then, oh my gosh, Big Daddy Chiefs fan coming out of nowhere, by God, that man had a family. Other funny behind the scenes things about this scene, the little cut in between the middle of it is when I got shoved and ran into the cameraman, Arian Strunk. And there he is, tied up to a punching bag, being tortured by the people who believe he is the murderer. Getting smacked around by Captain Colette, who then whispers in his ear, "Pretend you're the killer, trust me." Which I guess Detective Joe Nathan thought he was gonna get something out of doing that, because he agrees. And he does it. And then, boom! Got stabbed. I don't know why the blood came out 2 seconds before he got stabbed, but he's getting added to the count. Now that he's dead, they're thinking, alright, that's it. And even Shockstone drops this line.
Well, gang, that's another mystery solved.
Oh, from out of nowhere with the gunshot in the back, Captain Colette takes down Shockstone and adds him to the count. So now, all confused, here comes... Oh my God, is that the Top Hat Man's music? Oh my, here comes the Top Hat Man. The Top Hat Man is the recurring villain of the Big Daddy Chiefs fan series and is played by Grady Keaton. He comes out and reveals that he's the one that's been working with Captain Colette to commit the murders. Why is that? Well, that's because Captain Colette has been dying in every video up to this point, but nobody seems to remember it except for himself, not unlike Kenny McCormick from South Park. So now he must take his revenge by killing everyone. So after this stunning revelation, Big Daddy Chiefs fan asked Captain Colette to...
If you're gonna kill me, shoot me in the nuts.
Before then, pow, 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 quick drawn. And this time the blood spurts out 2 seconds after instead of 2 seconds before. Ha! We're improving somehow. But Captain Colette gets added to the count, most likely for what will be one of many times. So then, it's time for the epic chase. Top Hat Man chasing Big Daddy Chiefs fan, who now has no way to defend himself after the Top Hat Man shows off his supernatural powers and steals his gun. They run out, and the valet driver's still there for some reason. Well, don't worry about it too much, because now Big Daddy Chiefs fan's making his getaway. He's safe from the Top Hat Man, for now, because the post-credit scene shows the Top Hat Man chasing after him. And that's the end of that. But how many people did Captain Colette and the Top Hat Man eventually off before this was all over? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Six people died in the House Divided, all of which were male. And with a runtime of 14.53 minutes, that leaves us with a kill on average about every 2.41 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Caleb Armstrong, who died with a knife sticking out of his butt. And that's hilarious. Dull Machete for lamest kill goes to Brady Burke, who just got poisoned. And that was a House Divided. Overall, House Divided's one of the better Big Daddy Chiefs fan videos. I mean, it's extremely funny, very good, great story, great characters, great overall. But there are better, and we'll get to those later. With that being said, I'm Jonathan Markham. This has been the Big Daddy Chiefs fan kill count. Stay cool.